Hey everybody, it's Patrice Sandstrom and I am here in New Jersey, fabulous New Jersey with Erin and we are going to be talking about our command journey and building your business with referrals. So we have family reunion this month, so we have shortened our 4 series class into 3. So we are going to power through some material, and don't worry because Erin and I can speak really, really quickly. So this is going to be awesome. So hello New Jersey, how are you?
Good.
Yay. Erin, do you want to do a little introduction as well?
Sure. Well, I'm Erin Wheelock. I run the Wheelock team here in Manhattan. I am familiar with some of you. I'm very excited to see some faces again, see some names that I've seen before. And, I just want to let you guys know that this really came from being a passion project for Patrice, coming from a place of contribution with what we have available to us, the benefits of it, and just really getting out there more with Command so that you can all learn how to use it better. And we can learn how to use it better also from you if you guys have some extra insights. But then we can hopefully all get into production through Command faster on top of the business you already have.
Yeah, so true. So I'm just going to get right into it. The first part is the Command story. I didn't want to switch to Command, you guys. I loved my third-party system. I thought it was fantastic. It was easy. It had a lot of automations. I clicked a button and it would send deals to my agents. I run a small team, so we have a few agents on our team. It was so simple to do. And then the pandemic started, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, I had a coach that said, you need to cut your expenses, right? What if you don't sell houses for the next 6 months? And what if the next 6 months after that, you sell half of the houses that you've ever sold? How would you run your business? And so I had to look at my expenses. And the reality is I was paying about $400 a month for the third-party system. And I also was spending probably $400 to $600 a month on creating ads on Facebook on my own to advertise my open houses, because we were very open house heavy. That's where we got all of our business, right? It just was a natural part. And so that, to be honest, that was like, okay, I don't really want to switch. However, I do need to cut expenses. And so that's why I jumped over to Command. It wasn't a beautiful journey. It was a very painful journey. We had to map out the spreadsheets. We had to convert things over. We lost so many notes. We lost just a lot of some of the details and the tags. And to be honest, was that frustrating? Yes. However, you guys, we just were in a pandemic. Nothing that happened for someone in my life, 12 years ago or 10 years ago or 8 years ago really mattered anymore, right? Because the reality is that it was like we kind of got, the whole world was, the past was erased a little bit. And so what we realized is that what Command could do is, number one, it could hold on to your contacts, right? It could tag. It could take notes, and you could record a follow-up. So what we did is we just said, okay, we need to just be on the phone calling people, and we don't need to rely on those notes, although trust me, it would have been nice to have. We just need to start asking questions and being in relationships. And so it got to be of like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And just making those care phone calls that we hear about all the time. So if anyone has any questions, you guys, please stop me. I'm going to go through this part quickly because I want to get to the referrals, but it is important to cover this because I know a lot of people hesitate on Command, and I know that I know it's not ready. It still isn't ready. We have a team and we have a lot of awkward functionality sometimes.
Wait. I just want to change that language really quick. It's ready. Right. It's just not perfect, right?
You're right. It's ready. It's not perfect. We do have a couple of steps that we have to do together. The cool thing about that is, like, I guess if I have a gift, it's turning an obstacle into an opportunity. And the neat thing is, remember I said I used to click a button and send a lead to clients, to my team. We can't do that anymore. What I can do, and what we have done, is we have converted more deals together one-on-one. And to be honest, I don't do that as often as I should. But sometimes when we're passing off those leads, my agent now, because I'm talking with them, can say, will you be on this phone call? So we've had more instances where I'm on a phone call converting and they're actually listening to me. So that obstacle of it being a little more challenging, to be honest, has really helped quite a bit. So that was definitely a really great obstacle. And again, number two is I just wasn't relying on that data. Sometimes, I seem very bold and brave, and I am in a lot of ways. I just also do have those same feelings of nervousness and insecurity. And if my information was already there, I was skipping some clients because I already thought I knew kind of where they were. And having that erase and having to start from scratch gave me the responsibility and the permission to ask those questions that, to be quite honest, I should have been asking anyway. And were able to give me kind of a little bit more of a chance to build into build up my database and my relationship better, because it's all about connection. Go for it, Erin.
Can I want to ask really quickly, by a show of hands, how many people are currently using Command?
And those of you with no cameras, they've click a little button or something.
You have reaction. Yeah,
yes.
Hit a button. I love it.
I love the reaction.
So if you're not using Command yet, I love it. If you're not using Command yet, or you have just started using Command, one of the best things that I can say is look at it as an opportunity, right? All of these things that Patrice is saying about, you know, the opportunity to really have those care calls with people about COVID, find out, you know, the forward conversation, right? Figuring out what their future is, their dreams, where they want to go. Think of moving your database into Command as an amazing opportunity, because if you do this transfer the right way and you have these conversations with people going into your database, you now will have the opportunity to work your database at such a high level that if you have at least 200 people in there that you're working properly, they'll feed you for life, right? The goal is 500. I feel like people that really run a good database have 500 people that they work really well. But that usually even has to be divided into 2 people. I think we're finding that the magic number is right around 250 that are called quarterly, touched, et cetera. But don't look at it as a headache. Really look at this as an opportunity to start that database process, right? Because we all know Zillow leads are expensive. Street Easy, if you guys get those, are expensive. And if you can just get referrals from your database and from people in there, A, they're going to love you already, and B, it's a whole lot cheaper and a higher rate of return.
Yeah, and you know, we do pay for some leads on our team, and you know, our next class is going to be talking about the lead accelerator, and there's definitely an advantage there. And just like Erin's saying though, is we are seeing that these companies, Zillow and Street Easy, you guys, they keep raising their rates. They're seeing such opportunity to take our money from us, right? And so they are thinking that they own the clients. And so they're giving them to us. And it's really an opportunity to kind of start from scratch. And you guys, we have to give ourselves grace. And this is, Erin is my peak performance partner. We talk about this a lot. It's just getting better and giving yourself to permission to just say, to face it and go, oh my God, I have not run a really high-end database business, right? And going, okay, and starting today, I'm just going to make little steps on the way. And so it's just amazing. So, and by the way, our last class is Erin really talking about the database, which is going to be an amazing class as well. So these classes do kind of build up, and we're hoping that you'll be willing to try new things each week until we get there. So it'll be much easier when we get to that. So does anyone have any questions about this part? Like I said, we're kind of rushing through the hows and whys. I mean, number one, it saves you money. Number two, it does what it needs to do in the sense that you can speak and have relationships with clients. It is adding bells and whistles. And number three, I forget to mention this, but I think it's so important. You guys were part of Keller Williams because we really believe in the MREA book. It has been proven. Gary didn't just write it out of his brain. He went out and found the most successful agents all around the country, right? 20, 30 years ago. And what they were doing, he took all of that and he wrote it down in a book, and that's where he created. So that's what these systems are. And you guys, the Command is the app that he's creating around it. So we are still in beta version. But isn't that neat that once it's there, like it's really going to help you to run your business the way that we all believe that it should be run, right? The way the people are. So the next thing that was a really great opportunity is, as I mentioned, I was spending money on Facebook ads to try and get people to my open house. I believe we had successful open houses and I always sold well, but I could never trace a deal to the money that I was spending, right? I felt good. And on a listing appointment, I'm like, oh yeah, we spend all that money and I'm geo-targeting and people are coming in and this is awesome. And not everyone does this. And I know where your buyers are coming from. And I'm hitting that buyer profile. And that sounded really wonderful. So well, it was so great. I believed it, right? And the reality is I wasn't getting anything for my business. And I never was able to proactively follow up with these people. So I believed that it was working and it sounded good, but who knows, right? So then the next opportunity is when I'm in Command. Wait a minute, these lead accelerator tools, let me give it a shot, right? So we started actually using Lead Accelerator, and we found it to be a very inexpensive way to build up your database, right? It's great to have your sphere. These are the people you should be in relationship with. And sometimes we need some extra people that we think might want to buy a house that we can start to develop a relationship over time, right? And some of them, people say, oh God, are those leads good? Well, how do you know? Because you don't know if a lead is good until you've actually properly worked that. And what that means is that you have to touch them 72 times over a 2-year period. Now on day, I don't know, what is that? day 800 or whatever, at the end of 2 years, if you've done your part and that person still won't answer your phone call, that's a terrible lead. Like, let's throw him in the garbage, right? We can move him to somewhere else. But up until that point, he's just an opportunity for you to kind of get that. So how do you guys feel about that? And again, we'll talk about more ways at the end of the class to get to that point. But we all need people in our database, right? We should put our sphere. We hopefully are putting that as we speak. But it doesn't hurt for someone to look on a link, click on a button that says, hey, I'm interested in this house. And you get the ability to develop that relationship with it. Any questions or thoughts on that? You guys, we're going to get deep on that. Our next class is going to be the lead accelerator tool. We are actually going to be doing leads. And we've been teaching this class. We've taught it in Panama, France, New York, California, all over the country. And people are literally doing their ads for the first time and getting appointments. I don't know if they're getting into if we've had closings yet, but I know that people are getting leads. They're getting appointments from these lead accelerator ads. And depending, they're ranging from like $1 to $3 is about the average that we're seeing. So is it worth building up your database for that price? I certainly think it is, right?
And I think the important thing I just want to stress on is that going into Command, right, Patrice and even myself, I was paying hundreds of dollars a month for Infusionsoft because that's what I was switching over from. But if you can take that money that you're paying for a database, move to Command that's free, and then take that same money that you were spending anyways, but put it into something that can make you more money. I mean, that is what I hope that you all heard out of that was she didn't change her budget. She didn't all of a sudden start dumping money into something, but she's dumping money, something that's terrible, but she's now moved her money instead of putting it into a database. She has now moved her money into something that will actually get her more business and a better rate, right?
Isn't that cool?
A return.
So, yeah. And again, and the cool thing is I'm still actually saving money. So I'm actually more profitable than I've ever been. That's the cool thing. I mean, obviously there's a lot of yucky about COVID, and yet it's also been such a pause that made me change. And by the way, none of this came from comfort. I watched a shift class from, I think it was Matt Teeter. And it was, I literally cried at the end of it. I was really frustrated because I had to face that, oh my gosh, I'm not running a profitable business, right? I had been selling a good amount of houses. I looked good. I've been the #2 team for years. And so it's wonderful to get the awards. And then when I took this shift class and really paid attention, it was, are you really running a successful business? And the answer was no. And thankfully we have a nice high price point. And so I was able to hide, and that wasn't incredibly comfortable. But anyway, I'm glad I'm there. Kevin, do you have a question? I see it, Kevin, you have your hand up, and maybe you're just giving me a high five, which I like, by the way. And please excuse my finger. I know it looks funny. I'm all fine.
Did that? Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
I hear you. There you are. Yes. Hi, Kevin.
I put the hand up before when you asked for a show of hands about who was using Command. That's why.
Oh, good. It's still up there.
Yeah, I should have took it. It shows you how user-friendly I am with this whole thing. Hey.
So, you know what's funny, Kevin, is I'm technically considered a late adapter. So that's what's really cool, I think, about this class. And to be honest, I think that's why people are really, really getting into action. We hear all the time and people are like, I never even heard about this. I'm like, what? They talk about this all the time. But I think it's just hearing it from another agent that also is struggling, because we're hearing it sometimes from our leadership and our technology people. And sometimes they tell us what we want to hear of. This is how great it works. And yes, there are great things and there are challenges. What I'm just here to say is give it a try, because some of those obstacles can turn into opportunities. And again, we're here to you guys to run a profitable business, to make money for your family and build a life by design. You're going to be spending your time doing something. We may as well be doing it to build our business for the next level. And again, Erin really runs a database business. So she actually sends out the newsletter. She has all of this already set up. And it's so simple. I wouldn't want to say easy, right? But
so simple.
She has business that comes in from her newsletters. It's like, what? I know they say that all the time. It really does work. Like, oh my gosh. And Erin, would you say that your newsletter is perfect?
No,
right?
It's just like blop, blop, blop.
And sometimes you're scrambling, but you get it done. And again, I think, and I'd like to bring that up because I think sometimes we're so worried about being perfect. And Kevin, you just made me think about that when you're talking about, oh gosh, I held my hand up. It's like, no one cares. People just want to be communicated with and to see that you care, right? We don't have to be perfect at everything. You just have to be the one who cares about them the most. to win that business. At least that's worked for me.
Can I ask you girls a question?
Please.
All right. When we had the E-Edge program and we had that monthly newsletter that would go out, and then there was already content in there, it was just going out, and then it was able to show you if somebody actually went into your website and was browsing your website. It would show you a notification that somebody was browsing your website. Now that that's no longer being used, is there anything in the smart plans where there's a monthly newsletter that already has content? Or do you have to set it up and put in content every month to send it out? Because what I had liked about the E-Edge newsletter is that it was set it and forget it. And it would automatically go out and it had information in there just for people to browse. But then you knew that they were actually going into your website and browsing. And now that that's gone, I mean, other than, you know, I have that monthly neighborhood watch going out, but what else is there that has content already there?
So the neighborhood watch is going to be the best thing. I think I'm talking about the same thing you are, right? It gives them like, this is what's happening in your neighborhood. This is what's come on. This is what's gone into contract, right? Okay.
Right.
That's going to be the one thing that is automated that you can send out that actually changes in terms of it changes with the market, right? You do have the opportunity to do other set it and forget it monthly things. However, they are not going to change to the data of the day. It would be more like, I have a 12-month newsletter. I know in Christmas, I'm going to send out an article about snow angels. It's all set in there beforehand, and you can set it and forget it. But that is, to my knowledge, going to be the one thing that actually changes to the data of the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was sending out both. I was sending out the E-Edge newsletter so that there was content in there about, you know, it could be as simple as sprucing up your home for, you know, the spring market or whatever. And then on top of that, my monthly newsletter that would go out for the neighborhood watch would also be going to the same people. So they were kind of getting hit twice with different information. But it was the E-Edge one that actually was showing me notification that people were actually in there looking at my website browsing. So then you kind of knew who was kind of shopping.
Yeah, so that is such a great question that I will need to. So my monthly newsletter goes out through MailChimp, which is connected to Command. So that I see the analytics 100%. Now, what I don't know, and I can try to find out the answer, is because there are monthly newsletters as well that you can just send out automatically. But again, the data in it isn't going to change. It's going to be like, this is the newsletter that I'm sending out for the year. And I am not sure how to see who is clicking on what. I'm not sure how those analytics work, or if it does still feed through like a MailChimp because it's connected to it in Command.
Yeah, and I have to say, and Kathy, so we're on this similar journey on some of these things. So one of the things that we always talk about in these classes is look up people like Marty Miller, join some of those groups. So we certainly don't have all of the answers. And then I would talk with your market center, and we usually encourage them to do classes. So if that's something that's important to you, and again, if everybody will put their show of hands, we can give that kind of pressure so that they can help you to support you. Because I will bet that if your market center knows that, 10 or 15 of you are willing and excited about doing a newsletter, I have no doubt that they will put that together and come up with some content, because there are tons of, mini places all around. I use my BombBomb that it has. I know that
where are you fucking going?
There are a few places. There are a few places that you can kind of get those content. And to be honest, something simple like, curious about the market, call me, right? With a picture of the house. Erin sends out newsletters and puts property from other market centers, right? So use this as an opportunity. We're going to talk about, in fact, this is a great way to bridge us into our referral talks.
Segue.
Is she literally she advertises listings for other people. So Erin, why don't you share that with us? Kathy, does this help a little bit? Again, we aren't answering, and we could talk off screen with some of this stuff as well.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, the only thing that, like, what I see the difference of is with that e-Edge newsletter, that was content that was pre-written by whoever was sitting behind a desk, and that was their job, is to put content into a newsletter, and then it would automatically generate each month, you know, as long as I had set it. Whereas now I feel with the Smart Plan, I would have to go in and put the content in there that I want, as opposed to actually having articles already written. That's what I'm confused about. Does that exist? Maybe I just don't know it.
Yes, it does. If you go into the Smart Plans, there's hundreds of Smart Plans that are already written. I suggest going in there, reading it, and making sure it's the voice you want to give, but there are hundreds written.
I have browsed. I just didn't see anything that would have content of articles. You know what I mean? Without me putting the article in there. Does that make sense?
You might have to browse more, but also, you know what, it might be because what one person is putting as an article might not be what you would put as an article, right? Like if somebody made the Smart Plan, I don't know why I can't think of the word. If somebody made a Smart Plan in like Texas, they might not want to get the same articles that somebody in New Jersey should be getting. So that might be why, but you know, there are a lot of them and they're all content heavy.
And you guys, because sometimes we do a screen share, so while Erin starts on the referral stuff, I'm going to actually start looking, and if I find something of value, we'll do a screen share too. So how does that sound? Because I'm really curious as well, because it's such a great question, and people do talk about those things, and so this will be great. So great opportunity. Thank you for asking that question, and I'm going to put myself on mute while I click through these things.
Sounds good. So we're going to kind of segue a little bit into the referrals. So
can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah, please.
Relates to before you segue. So, and I've sent this question out to like KWRI support multiple times, and they're not. Since I can't talk to someone, somehow I'm not getting like the answer. All they're doing is like cutting and pasting, you know, how to do. So my question is,
are you on the Command support page on Facebook?
Yes. And I did put a post in there. I don't know if maybe I'm not explaining it correctly, but so let's just say, I'll use my husband as for an example. So say my husband is one of my contacts, and I have my husband set up on a monthly neighborhood nurture. So once a month he gets this, what's going on in your neighborhood. If I also want to set him up on a different Smart Plan, so in essence, 2 Smart Plans, I'm finding that and I'm using him as a sample so I can see if he's getting it. He can only get 1 Smart Plan because his contact can't, for some reason, Command is blocking him getting more than 1 email per se. So he's only getting 1. So he'll get the neighborhood nurture, but if I set him up for something else, he won't get it. And so my question to support was, can 1 contact be set up in multiple Smart Plans? And I keep asking that, and then they keep sending me articles on how to set up a Smart Plan. And I'm like, I know how to set it up. I just can't get over this hurdle of why can't 1 particular contact be on multiple Smart Plans? Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Patrice?
I was just going to say, so I have had a couple of challenges, and to be honest, I find that I go to our ASC, our service coordinator, has helped me to navigate some of the support a little bit better, because I don't have the exact answer for that question, to be quite honest. You know, we are just regular agents like you, so we don't always know all of those details, and Erin may have more, but I will say that it has been helpful when I'm going through my market center to get some of those kind of questions, because personally, I had a website thing that was just only an issue with mine. And so we had to go through and kind of have a ticket back and forth. And again, this is in a beta, so I'm not really sure how that works out. It doesn't seem like that should be the case, in my opinion, that you'd have to choose one or the other, specifically since, you know, I have like a calling Smart Plan that says call every quarter. And then if I want to send them an email, it should also, they should be able to overlap. So I would talk with your services coordinator and see if they can help you with that ticket.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if it was something everybody knew, like, no, you can't do that, or the system's not ready for that, or I just didn't know if I was trying something that was just out of the box, which I didn't think it was that like abnormal.
No, we're testing it right now, actually. I'm having Jen do a test run right now to see if we're doing something and how,
you know, maybe a buyer,
works,
maybe a client wants to see what's going on in their neighborhood, but also a neighborhood that they're targeting moving to. So it'd be like two different.
Well, and they should be able to be on a newsletter and a market update.
Dozens of them.
Right.
And so, you guys, I'm going to screen share because I did, I just wanted to, I pulled up, can you see my screen? So I just put a newsletter in the library. So I went in, and by the way, I have to click back and forth a few times to get there, but I finally found the library. And when I just put newsletter, it does have generic real estate tips for your database. It looks like it does have lots of these little newsletters. I always like the ones that have the stars because I feel like people are rating it. So it does look like, look, there are definitely newsletters, and 297 agents are using this particular one. And so someone is making them. It looks like it's Medini Prahan. And I don't know if you guys know, but you can search by a name or the author type. So if you like what Medini does, you could literally search and see everything that Medini does. Marty Miller is another popular one that people use all the time. And he has a 66-day challenge that he does quite a bit on command. So there are definitely some newsletters in here. So you should be able to copy this. Now, the exact system to implement, I'm not the expert on that, but they're definitely in here. This is something that our team is working on right now. And obviously it's free. So, view steps. Let's see what the steps are. So simple email. I assume it has something in there. And now this is, I'm not sure if it'll show. Whoa. What? Oh, this just kind of goes through. I was hoping, oh, no, it does say it on here. So look, this looks like this is actually the newsletter. So I'm able to, when I hover in this really random area, and maybe it's because we're on Zoom, but do you see it does look like it has some tips. Do you see how that's, can you guys see that? Yeah. So that is the newsletter. Now I assume it'll come up different, but so there is some content in there. Like Erin said, it may not be the content that you want, but you may be able to start with something. And obviously, again, since this is COVID, it's like, it would be different in New York, New Jersey, California, Texas. So that'll have to be changed.
I'm just comparing it to the e-edge plus my previous brokerage. We had something else that we had done too that was also a monthly newsletter that would just automatically go out. The thing is that if you wanted to go in and personalize it and add things, you could. But if you didn't get a chance to that month, it was okay because something was still going out with content. Sure. And it wasn't just, like lines like that. I mean, it looked like actual articles where it would have the pictures and it would, I know what
you mean. Yeah. I think they haven't quite gotten to that point of like the content, I think is kind of behind. I think right now they're just working on the framework, which again, they're getting through some obstacles. So you're right, there could be more content, but I would browse in here because you may find somebody who you relate to and has a business that's similar that would be okay with you sharing. So it could be worth checking out because you never know if there's someone who has a business that's similar to yours. And you may just say that on one of those Facebook chats. Hey, does someone have a newsletter that they really love? And can someone share? And you know how it is with a KW group, right? It's like you put it on there, forget about it. They're going to be chiming in like crazy.
Honestly, I had put it into I had asked the question in one of the KW Facebook pages. I forget, it was probably Command. And a few people commented, but it was nothing really major. But I was just wondering, since we got rid of e-edge, if there was something that was replacing it.
I'll bet there will be.
Right. But, I would think if we're ending it, we'd have something ready to go. And that was my concern. That's what
I think it's just, I'm going to say two things on that. And Rebecca, I actually have an answer for you. So we just tested it. If you go into the smart plan and you add the person to the smart plan, we got both emails. So we did get multiple emails from two different smart plans. Now, if you are thinking about they want to know about this location and they want to know about that location, it's not going to work from my knowledge. And the reason is because that location is tied to their address.
Right.
So if you can't, yeah, but we did just have it work. So I don't, yeah.
Right. Right. It's not, I realized that after I asked the question, it wouldn't work because it's tied to the address. So I'd have to make a new contact with like an address of where they want to move. Address. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then for Kathy, I think you have to look at this differently because yes, this is an e-edge, but e-edge it was the exact same concept. It's just different material. It is the exact same concept. The monthly newsletters going out automatically, exact same concept. It's just going to be different material than what was in e-edge because it's different people writing it. But I guarantee you the people that wrote e-edge have also written Smart Plans. Yeah. Referrals. If we can move into referrals. Yay. Okay, so one of the main reasons I personally believe in being a part of Keller Williams is because we have this amazing opportunity to give referrals. And when I say give referrals and gain referrals, I mean all over the entire world. And, you know, Patrice is phenomenal at this, but I'm just going to share one thing because we were talking about the newsletters. I realized how powerful this was because at the start of COVID, I was like, I want to get away mentally. So I ended up sharing a property from one of our, you know, fellow colleagues in France, in the south of France, and I shared their property in my newsletter. A day or two later, I got a call from someone, and oh, Erin, I love your newsletter. I was looking at it. I actually want to buy a property in the south of France. I was like, wait, what? This work? Ever since then, I've been featuring someone's property from somewhere else in my newsletter, and it has done two amazing things for me. One, it's actually gotten me referrals to give away. And two, I am now seen as the broker for anywhere for the people in my newsletter, right? It's no longer just, let's go to Erin for our New York needs. It's, oh, hey, Erin, you know, Erin featured a great property in Pennsylvania, so I bet she knows an agent there. So why don't I go to her to see who she knows there? You know, and that is so powerful because oftentimes our clients will end up moving somewhere else or know someone going somewhere else. But if they see us as the people to go to put them in touch with a great agent, you know, that can only build your business, you know, 10 times more, right?
Yeah. And you guys, obviously we're in a pandemic and we're seeing that it fluctuates in every area. And if there's one thing that this has taught us to do, it's really like the shift on steroids, is that we need to be purposeful about our business and having those different channels of business. So one, giving them, because it's like having an expansion team all over. You're getting money coming in from everywhere, from doing very little, just an introduction. And number two is receiving them, which, you know, is also really cool too. I think that's some part that we are oftentimes more focused on, but we can run this as an actual part of our business. And again, that's what Erin's talking about and that we're talking about today, is like actually being purposeful. That part of my job is connecting with other agents. The cool thing is that you get to choose agents that you like, right? And again, another neat thing about COVID, which has been uncomfortable. However, we are now all online. So we really, you know, it's like used to call and meet an agent at family reunion. And trust me, I miss all of that stuff. And you're like, oh, that person seems so nice. I always think everybody's so nice. That person is so nice, yes, right? And then you refer a deal to them and you're like, hey, what happened? You're like, oh my God, that person never called me back. You know, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wait a minute, that was my best friend. Now I'm embarrassed because I gave someone to you. You didn't follow up. Now you're complaining about it. I'm stuck in the middle and it's a weird conversation. And you're like, maybe I didn't quite know that agent as well as I thought. You guys, now you can really look at us all on Facebook and see, is Patrice aligned with someone? Is she someone I'd want to refer business to? Is Erin? I'm just picking your names out, is Kathy, is Victoria, right? You really get to see who we are as people, and you can say, I really like that person. I would love for that person to work for me, right? I bet that they do a good job for their clients because they look like they're hardworking and fun and happy or whatever it is. You know, they're professional. That's somebody I want to build business with. And you guys, you have the opportunity literally just to reach out to someone and say, hey, Patrice, you know, do you know anybody in the New Jersey area? Do you have any partnerships that are here? Because I'm looking to build a relationship. And either I would say yes or no. And, you know, how do we earn that trust? Who do you know that's moving here? We all know somebody from everywhere. And so that's what we're going to really talk about today is how can we make that a bigger part of our business and a more purposeful part of our business. So we have some tips, but I'd also, because this is interactive, would love to hear questions, comments, any mindset issues around any of this thing. Does anybody want to share?
How many people are actively giving referrals? At least like one a month. Okay, actually, Patrice, you didn't say this yet, but Patrice is purposeful about referrals. And Patrice, how many referrals have you given in January, or did you give in January?
Oh God, now I forgot the numbers because it's all over. But so I have given out, just gave another one yesterday, actually. So I think I've given out 5
it's
so
February,
far.
doesn't count.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, darn. Okay. Oh, you're right. Right. But it's only a little bit into February. Can we count it? So this year in 2021, I've given out 5 referrals. I've connected people that is not a referral that I will be a part of. I won't get any money, but I've connected people so that they can get referrals. I think we've had about 3 of those. And then incoming, not just all from agents. I'm also purposeful. Once you start asking for referrals, you guys, it's natural to start asking everybody. I just ask everybody now. So it comes up now, it's part of the language. And so receiving in stuff that's just come in, I think we've had 12 so far this month. And by the way, that doesn't mean that we're closing business. However, it's once you start sprinkling those seeds out, that's how your language changes. And that's how your mind shifts, that now you start to see business so differently. So agent to agent.
Wait, I just want you to pause for 1 second. Is there anybody out there that would, I don't know, it's February 5th. Anybody okay with receiving 12 referrals? I don't know why I'm not seeing a whole bunch of hands going up here. Is anybody on this call okay receiving?
And
right?
The other thing that's neat about that, you guys, is I really just got purposeful about it about a year ago. Just so you know, like, this isn't like I haven't been mastering referrals forever. To be honest, again, everything in my life, like I love comfortable. I love status quo. I don't want to change it all ever. If I could go through the same process, awesome. COVID, as yucky as it has been, it's pressured me to make changes, right? I had a tragedy in my life this summer that made me make changes, and I needed to lead generate, and I didn't have capacity to call and say, hey, do you want to buy a house today, right? I didn't have that capacity. What I had capacity for is I made a commitment that 50 contacts was something I was going to do no matter what, and agent to agent was something I could handle. Building a relationship with people that understood me, I could handle. And so I ended up having a lot of realtor relationships. And so last year, I ended up getting 40 pieces of referral business from, I think June is when I started paying attention, through December. And that was what really opened my eyes is, oh my God, you guys, there's such an opportunity here. And I think sometimes we're like, the referral fee and going through the headache, it's kind of a pain in the neck. And the other thing is what I mentioned is I think sometimes the referral system, I think as agents, we haven't always managed that well. You give a referral to somebody, you cross your fingers and you hope that a check magically appears. You know, it's now if it's going to be a purposeful part of your business, what do you need to do? Well, number one, you have to communicate well. What do you expect from that agent? What's the level of communication? You have to see this
and set up the expectations from the beginning. And I'm sorry, but you do not put enough stress on this, Patrice. Did anybody hear that other number that she said? 40 referrals. 40 referrals from June until December by being purposeful about referrals. Just wanted to put that out there again.
And we haven't closed them all, right? We're still working them in some, but 40 people that said, I trust you with my client. Yes, 25% referral fee, handshake, and move on, right? So that's kind of where we are. Now we're struggling to kind of keep up with everything that goes on and making sure that our back end is good. And I think another one of the things that's been cool is part of the reason that it had 40 is some of those were, number one, I got intentional about relationships. Number two, I'm intentional about referral partners. I have probably about 30 people across the country that really support my referral business and literally generate for me. So if they hear that someone has something in my area, even close, they reach out to me, they say my name and they connect us. I do that exact same thing for them. I'm very purposeful and it feels so good. It's like having a team of people that really love and support me. Another number two thing is that we got really purposeful about communication. So when someone used to give me a referral, I was so busy doing a good job for that client. And of course they'd get their check when it was done, but I didn't build that relationship. I didn't take it to the next level. So again, with COVID, right, we had more time and I needed to count everybody as a contact. So we got in the habit and my assistant Liz would start every other week. She followed up with that agent that gave us a referral. So every other week they would hear from us. Even if it was like, hey, I don't know what, that guy's ghosting me, I haven't heard from him. Or, hey, he still isn't approved. Hey, he's busy. Oh my gosh, we're still looking, but we haven't found anything. We wrote an offer and it didn't get accepted. Like, we literally are just doing that constantly. And that has been such a big supersize too. What we found is that people that gave us business started giving us repeat business. And most people would go, oh, because I would literally say, oh my God, I just gave you $10,000. I love paying you. Now I'm like a member of your team. What can I do next? And they'd go like, oh, I don't have anybody else. I'm like, well, keep looking because I like working for you, right? Let me send you another check. And I literally say that kind of words, really funny, right? And it is really amazing how people really do it. It's like, you know, if we've taken bold, it's that reticular activating system, right? You literally are planting that seed. And again, it's just about, do you see how this is just a mind shift? I'm not calling more contacts than usual. I'm calling different contacts and I'm being purposeful. And what I consider this is like, this is wholesale lead generation, right? I can go after the onesie twosie clients, and we want our pipeline. We want today business. What I also want is to build something that is going to make business come back to me naturally. I want some people in my world, some of them being agents is what we're talking about today, that literally just give me business, right? And then once I started mastering this, and it's like, hey, I should be doing this with attorneys. Holy crap. Oh my God, I should be doing this with my networking partners, right? Like, I should be supersizing all of that. So I'd love to hear some comments, because that's, again, it's really, I think what it is. It's not that I have my system perfected. It's like I literally changed my mindset and it's just expanded me.
Well, I do want to hear everybody's thoughts and comments. And one thing I also want to point out is I feel like Patrice has gotten so purposeful of building those relationships with the agents for the referrals. And I'm striving not quite as quickly, and I'm not as far as Patrice, but I'm really striving to go the route of being purposeful with people in my database and my clients so that they see me as a referral resource so that I can constantly be the person that's sending out there. And so if you can put it together, you know, then, well, that's just gold, right?
It's literally gold, right? And fun.
Yeah, and fun. One of the things I also want to bring up that Patrice does such a great job with, first of all, I hope that everybody on this call puts their clients, like adds them on Facebook, Instagram, like you should be adding all of your clients, right? People always work with people that they like. And as far as I'm concerned, they'll hopefully figure out that they like me probably more by seeing my social media than me trying to call them and having an hour-long conversation. But that is another area where you can really show that you are a global agent. You know, how excited would you be as an agent to have someone in, you know, maybe California, Patrice, for instance, say, hey, I want to share your listing on my Facebook page. Number one, she does it all the time. She'll tell you how great that is. But number one, it's getting your listing more exposure. And number two, it's making her look like an agent that knows people all over, because clients look at our page, other agents look at our page, right? So she becomes a go-to for people. So that's another great way of building those relationships with other agents and being seen by your clients as someone that is not just, for me, like a New York City agent. It's an agent that can connect me globally with anyone. And I want to mention, Patrice just put up a form, you guys. We're going to be doing masterminds, and we also have other classes. So if you guys want to click on that form, it's a Google link, and it'll just ask you to put in your information so that we can keep you posted on classes moving forward in our mastermind.
Yeah. And by the way, you may or may not have noticed, and again, if you guys will see us on Instagram, we'll be in Louisiana together today. We're here in New Jersey. We were in New York last month. We were in Paris last month. We invite people from all over. Like, this is part of it too, right? Like, you know, we want to provide that opportunity. You guys could be doing the same thing that we're doing, right? You could have your own specialty. You could have your own class. This is definitely part of it. And, you know, again, today's a shortened class, so we're squeezing in. And there's so many different ways. So today, and we could talk about this more in our mastermind later, because usually we have a full hour for the first part of the class and then a full hour for the second. So I apologize that we're squeezed because of family reunion. We at least want to put those seeds. And I will say that anything matters. And every agent that you talk to is in your same boat, right? We understand each other at a level that no one else can, right? We are in a business that we have to hear no 97 to 99 times every day. Right? To make some of these phone calls that you're like, I'm going to hear yes from these people, because who's not going to say, yes, I want you to give me business and I'll give you business, right? Tell me about your business. Is this something you consider? You literally, it just covers you in every way. And especially if you find someone you're in alignment with, don't just pick somebody because they're a top producer. If you're a new agent, pick another new agent. if you're a single agent, pick a single agent, pick someone that you actually may be enjoying being in a relationship, because the trick is you want to really care about their business, and naturally they're going to want to care about yours. So I'll give you some other tips that we do too. Oh, go ahead.
I also think, you know, on that, when you're looking for a referral partner in an area, I love to stalk people on Facebook or something. And here's why. Because if I have a client that I know likes me and likes working with me and likes my personality, I want to make sure that person that I'm putting them in touch with is, you know, not me, but as close to me as can be, or at least very similar, right? Because they're going to expect a certain level of service, or they expect a certain level of service, because I've set expectations for them and I've set standards for them here. They're going to expect that wherever they go. And if I can make sure that they're with somebody that is similar to me, at least a little bit, and I know that they've gone through their training that we have at KW, and I know that they will give the same level of service, they're going to be so happy, and they're going to continue to send people to me to put in touch with other places moving forward. So don't be afraid to really go deep with those agents to make sure that, you know, because for me, like I'm a New York City agent, right? I'm a high D. I speak in bullet points. I will get this data for you. We will go, 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 go. I would have a very hard time, and I have made the mistake in the past of sending someone to an amazing referral agent that was just not a high D. They were an I think more of an S as well. They repeated themselves a lot. They wanted to go over things and over things and over things, which is perfect for a first-time home buyer that is probably not from Manhattan. Because this person was like, why are they repeating themselves? I don't understand. This could have been this. When they called me, they were like, Erin, I feel like our conversation could have been done in 15 minutes. I was like, ooh, yeah, probably. So just be very cognizant of who you are referring to. And then I would love, because I know that we have 8 minutes left, but we have family reunion this year, you guys. Why not discuss ways that we can build our referral networks through family reunion?
That's a great idea. Yes, there are networking events that are some of these things too. Can I just say my one thing that we do with the Lead Accelerator? We can get more in that. But another thing that we did for referral partners is, again, Erin puts people in her newsletter. We also, because of the Lead Accelerator tool, you can very easily, when people are sharing these listings, which of course you always do, you ask for that, you can also advertise and just make a very small budget and advertise their listing and give them clients. So what a great way. Once I spent $45 and got 39 leads for an agent because she asked me to post her listing. To be honest, again, it came from a mistake. We accidentally advertised it. I meant to advertise it in my area because I knew that people from my area were moving there. It's a common destination. We advertised it in her area too. So we were able to give her leads. So again, another way of that coming from contribution and giving back. And you guys tell us what you would like to do for family reunion and how you think you can get some great referral partners. Because I actually met Erin at France Family Reunion last year. And it's most of the referral partners I know actually are from Family Reunion, and obviously will be virtual, but I still would love to hear. So Kathy, you just came back on. Do you have something to say? Who's all going to Family Reunion, first of all?
Yes. I went last year. Last year was my first year going. So that, you know, this year's going to be way different, I'm sure, but it was a great experience last year.
Yeah, it is. And so Erin and I know we've bopped around. There's like a world, there are some outside breakout rooms, and it is kind of weird being on Zoom, you guys. I get it, right? It's weird to be like, hey, I'm Patrice, you know, I'm jumping into Puerto Rico and I'm jumping into different sessions at different countries. And it's kind of, for a minute, I'm like, oh, and then you just jump into the pool and just go, hey, I'm Patrice. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'd love to meet. Is anyone looking for a partner? I have friends in this area. I love traveling there. I would love to refer business. Who wants to have a discussion, right? You could send out a message to someone and see if someone reaches out. I know at Mega Camp, Stephanie, who's not here, she's an agent on my team. She was at Mega Camp and she found, because they kind of break you up. You know, when you're choosing a topic, you are in some smaller groups, and she found that she liked some of the people that were communicating. And so she was able to form those relationships. So make sure you're taking notes of those numbers. It's amazing. Jenny, who's on my team now, she's my team manager. She has been in relationship with Danielle, I forgot Danielle's last name, who was a speaker who spoke at Mega Camp, Hayden. She does she does YouTube videos for like how to run your business. She's a team leader. She's fantastic. She was on Mega Camp. I was really impressed with what she said. We wrote her name down. So Jenny has reached out to her. She's talking about making a YouTube video specifically for what we need. You guys, this is KW. Nobody shares, cares, and wants to help the way that we do. I think if we just use that as an opportunity, it's just freaking powerful. So Judy, you just came on. Do you have a comment? Are you guys finding value out of this? And by the way, this is my favorite reaction, but I'll be okay with one of these.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad. Kevin, do you find that this is something, now that I've got you on, don't think you can get away from me. I'll give you a heart for speaking up though. Do you find that this is something that you would like to be purposeful on? And does anyone have any specific questions? Because like I said, we sometimes get a little deeper. For now, we at least just want to go top level to just kind of change that mind shift. And then we can discuss it at one of our future classes.
Well, I need to get in this MailChimp thing for newsletters, which I don't even know what it is, but I do have an admin that's handling things for me now. Okay. She can run circles around me. I don't really know what she's doing half the time, and I'm not particularly interested, which is probably my problem, you know. But because it's just way beyond me most of the time, you know. And I just prefer to be talking to people and not fooling around with all this Zoom stuff and everything else, right? But I realize it's important. As far as the referrals, I've given referrals out. I've never gotten one, but I don't really know anybody outside the area, you know? And so I guess the only way to open that up is with Facebook or Instagram or something, because how else am I going to, you know, find it with these other agents, you know, by normally doing business?
I have a lot of those ideas too, by the way, if you don't mind me sharing.
Oh, please.
So Kevin, by the way, I love your transparency. I have a few members of my team, and trust me, they can attest that I don't know a lot of the stuff. Like, I'm like, I don't even want to know. You are the rainmaker of your team. You shouldn't have to. Now, you are also the CEO, so you should give them direction and say, I'd like for us to be in this direction. Can you figure it out? And then we'll have a thumbs up because we want to know more. If you're giving referrals out, in my opinion, you should be getting them as well. To be honest, I've done a better job receiving than giving until now. Like, this is the first year that I literally have a goal of giving referrals. But one thing I will say is that in the past, I wasn't good at asking. Now I'm real good at asking. However, I'm good at putting myself at the right places. So I take bold classes in other locations. Obviously, right now we can't. But I would take bold. I'm in the East Bay of the San Francisco area. I would go 2 hours out and take them in the Silicon Valley, places that people won't necessarily work, but may know other people.
Sure.
That's something we usually get deep with in this contact, is being around the people that, you know, your referrals are coming from, right? Where are people moving to and from in New Jersey? Find that out.
Patrice,
and take
can
classes.
I'm going to show you all how to do that right now.
Oh,
Patrice, will you let me share my screen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'll actually show you guys how to do this so you know. And there's also something else that I would suggest you do. Go on to Facebook, find all of the referral program or all the different referral groups. Go into those referral groups, go to the search bar and search your location. It will bring up every past referral to that area. Find out who it is that referred that business. Make friends with them.
Yeah. And Kevin, you said you're great at talking, which is great. It just needs to be almost like asking, and so am I, right? It's just asking better questions and asking the right questions. And just, again, it's putting that seed in your head, like, what could I be doing differently, right? You're talking to people anyway. Could I add 5 more people? Could I be purposeful about 5 more people? Can I, you know, again, like Erin said, find those people that are referring and figure out where they are. Ask that person, hey, are you guys doing some classes in your market center? Can I join in, right? You know, come with me, come with Erin and me to, you know, we're all over the world. Join our classes. People come in all the time from our market center. One of the other big things is like, find people in market centers that are an hour and a half away. Be in a relationship with those guys, right? It's like, we're in the middle of COVID. I'm not driving across a bridge if I don't have to, right? Let me find someone that is really my partner and go, dude, this is the plan. I'm going to commit to getting you 5 deals this year. You know me, I'll talk to everybody. And this year I'm going to be cautious about getting you business. Sometimes isn't it easy to ask for other people than for ourselves?
Absolutely.
And clearly you're a giver because you're giving. So, okay, Erin, go ahead and show us. So Erin is in command.
Yep. So you go to that referral spot.
Right.
Then you're going to hit map. Woohoo. And I seem to be a little slow today.
And while she's looking, I just want to say this too. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of our class changed based on your questions, right? So this exact class, although again, this is 2 classes into one, these classes, my team comes all the time because they're literally different every time, Kevin. So come to more of these. If this is something that you want, come with us either later this afternoon, next month, or whatever. Keep taking classes about what you're interested in. I will take the same class over and over and over again until I master it. I will read the book again and again until I master it.
And then teach it.
If you're good at,
And then teach it.
And then teach it. And Kevin, if you are good at that lead generation, raise your hand, people. Like, half of us are afraid of talking to strangers. Like, our parents were too good at that. We still have a hard time with lead generation. Teach someone how good you are at what you do and let that be an exchange. Okay, sorry, Erin, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I love everything you just said. Okay, so here, go to referral patterns.
Okay.
And then what city are you in?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Wayne, New Jersey.
Wayne,
my daddy's name. Oh.
What do you know?
I'm going to give you another heart for that.
If you don't know, Patrice loves the heart.
And unicorns, but they don't put one of those on Zoom yet. So
that's not available yet. It'll come, and we can all blame her. No, I love it. Okay, so this is literally, so right here it says send. So this is where people in Wayne are sending their referrals. So 8% of the referrals are going to New York. By the way, I can handle those. Sorry. The Bronx, Toms River, New Jersey, Medford, New Jersey, Morganville, all of these places, right? So
Isn't
it's showing
this
you
cool,
all these
you
places.
guys?
Interesting.
And then you can go to received. So look at that. Oh, White Plains. People are sick of Upper New York City. Hi. Toms River, Morristown, Kernersville, North Carolina. Who knew? You guys, 4% of the referrals coming to you guys are from Kernersville, North Carolina. I don't even know where that is, but I would meet someone there. So you guys see this?
Isn't this neat?
This is where you should go. You know, maybe your city is a little bit different, but these are the top 20 results. Sorry, I'm trying to look around my
really
beauty
neat.
light here that keeps me not looking like a
And
ghost.
you could almost use a smart plan, or create your own of like, okay, I'm going to call one of those cities every day. I'm going to call 5 agents in each of those cities, right? Because I mean, sure, you could start with anybody that you like, which is kind of my style. Like, I want the people I connect with, and this is a really smart high D's way of like, no, let's just get straight to the business.
Look at, and I didn't even know you could do this. You just click it. So this one had so many that, oh, I did that wrong. Okay, so it had so many going to that one place. So I clicked on it, and well, I'll just show you with another one, right? So you see how this says 7%, it's a little house. I clicked on it, and then it said like, this is where they came from Greensboro, and it gave percentages of each. So click on them as well, and it'll give you the percentages of each. But let's go back to it so I can show you this. So I can be purposeful and show you.
This is so cool.
So when I clicked on this North Carolina, right? Because I don't even know where this office is. 4%. So this is 7% came from Raleigh, 6% came from Winston-Salem. Sorry, my admin is dancing. I love it. It makes me happy. It's Friday. Charlotte, Austin. This is showing referral patterns to them. I lied. But still, okay, cool.
It still is the same concept though, right? You still get to see all of those things, which is just key. And again, you guys, at some point we will be free to travel, right? So
right,
Kevin, you probably, if you like people, you probably like travel and meeting them in person. Like, it may not, there's me.
Tax deductible.
Yeah, well, this whole networking, the whole networking game, let's say, it's all changed now. So
it has, yeah.
I don't even know, like, I don't even know what kind of groups I can even join, because most of them they're not doing anything, and the ones that are doing them online. And
well, I would give that to someone who likes that stuff on your team, right? I would give that. Don't feel like don't change who you are, Kevin. Let's just
it's too late. I'm too old.
Are you guys seeing this though? I'm sorry. Just want to make sure you're all looking at my screen. Wayne, New Jersey, 14 hours ago. Here's a phone number for you.
Everybody write that down. I expect 14 people to call that number right now. And then you guys have to tell us if someone from this group got it. And you guys, you have to call them. When you're seeing these and people put your name up there or whatever, you have to follow up and call.
Oh, sure,
I do a call, a text, an email. Kevin, you're great at that. You know, Kevin, what yours talk is some of your weaknesses.
All these people, right?
Don't worry about that. Your strength is the talking. That's what we should be doing anyway. You guys raise your hand and like, wouldn't you love for your superpower to be that you could talk to anybody? I know I could, and I do only because I'm just like, yeah, I do, I guess. But that doesn't mean I don't have the fear inside, right? I'm still like, oh my, you guys, this was my first time meeting all of you. I promise you, I had a nervousness, like, what if these people don't like me today? Oh my God.
Everybody has the same problem. And when you hear the term now from these millennials, where they'll say something ridiculous like, I'm socially inept, or I'm socially awkward, right? And somebody 21, 22 years old already makes that statement about themselves. And I say, guess what? Everybody is socially awkward, depending on the situation. I said, that doesn't make you so unique. You know, none of us are comfortable with total strangers and walking up and saying, hi, it's me. You know, it's not that easy.
It isn't. And I think people forget that. Like, that would be a fun class to go to, right? It's like, okay,
absolutely.
Hey, raise your hand if you're socially awkward. Come and join my class today. And we're going to talk about ways to get through it together. And again, the cool thing is that it's just a fun intro. And this is just a fun way of business. You guys, we do have to talk to strangers. We really do have to ask people.
Absolutely.
We do have to expect 97 to 99 no's in our job every single day. That is literally what our job entails. That's just before we can even start the hard work with them, to be honest, right?
Right.
This is just a way of saying, let's try and find a network of people that are going to build this out with me. Let's have some people that have my back. Because when I hear no now, I'm like, you guys have no idea how cool I am. Like, I have a network of people that care about me. If you knew how cool I was, you wouldn't say no. So now that I know that no is not about me, it's about you. And all that comes from have all of this together. And again, it's easier for me to ask for referrals from people, from strangers, from my past clients, now that I've gotten into this habit. Thank you. Every once in a while I get a heart. That's all I need in life. A sticker or a heart. I'm all set. So
it's an easy way to please Patrice. I love it.
Totally. You guys, thank you for joining us today. Go ahead. Sorry, Erin.
I was just going to say, we do want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. I hope you filled out the Google form. And does anybody have, maybe we could hear like 2 action steps that someone is going to take besides everyone calling that referral?
Yeah, that one guy.
Does anyone have an action step? By the way, I bet one of you will.
I'm going to give a pre-clap.
How many of you actually thought about that referral and said, oh my gosh, everyone on here is going to call? I'm not going to. Don't lie. You know, some of you had that thought. It's a human nature thought. So I guarantee you a lot of you did, because it's human nature.
Sure.
So go just fight through that fear. All right, what are people going to do? 2 things.
Any ahas?
I thought it was great.
Yes, Patrice.
So this will be every Friday?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys, next week, we're going to be doing the Lead Accelerator. So it's a cool class.
Sure.
We will screen share. We're going to go through it. We literally build an ad together. You'll get to see. It'll just be really neat. If anybody wants to do it before, that'd be awesome. If you can show your stats, which is really fun to see what's happening. I did that with Rodolphe, an agent in Paris. And again, he got 2 referrals. He had 2 appointments actually, like from a week before, because he had literally never done this. It's amazing how it works. You can spend, I think $10 is the maximum, the minimum that you could spend.
Minimum.
So it's just a really nice test. So we'll get into all of that. We'll talk about strategy, how you should spend your money. We'll talk about the different words, and we're literally going to go through it. So that'll be really fun. We skip a week, which is again why we had a squeezed in class today. So family reunion, we will not be here. We're going to be out building our referral partners. And then the last class, Erin, is so freaking good. I'm not kidding. Last week, they called it a master class, and we were in France, which means, and by the way, we don't speak French. So it was that good that people in a different language was saying how amazing it is, because she really runs her business. So it's like she took the database class and she's added all this amazing stuff. And of course, she and I share back and forth, and it has just been phenomenal. So please come back again and join us. Please reach out to us. Please sign up on our Google Docs and follow us. And again, we're starting in the spring. We're going to have a mastermind. It'll be every week, and it's going to be people that have taken these classes and that are on this journey with us, because we're maybe a couple steps ahead of you. And to be honest, in some cases, we're a couple of steps behind people. And the only way we're going to get better is if we just keep sharing, right? If we're sharing this data together. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully some of you come with me to Louisiana today too. So, or Erin and me to Louisiana.
Yeah,
and that'll be
us.
in a few hours, 2 hours from now. Thank you for joining.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Have a productive weekend. Thank
Yay.
you.
You too.